Bonjour, it's time to talk Roland Garros. You've tuned into the French Open Daily Dose for the Chris McPherson Show, serving up your daily clay court content. No double faults, but plenty of top spin. We've arrived at semi-final day in the men's draw, and it is a blockbuster slate, there's no denying. World number one Jannik Sinner faces off against the greatest to ever take the court in the men's game when it comes to Grand Slam titles, Novak Djokovic. And Carlos Alcaraz is going to look to outmuscle the rising Italian star Lorenzo Musetti in the other semi-final. But before we dive into the heavyweights, we do have to touch on a rising Aussie star who's turning heads in the juniors. And of course, let's get it together for Emmerson Jones, the youngster from the Gold Coast who's marched into the semi-finals of the girls' singles at Roland Garros. She won through 7-5, 6-4 and will now take on Austria's Lily Tagger in the semi-finals. She's the highest-ranked Aussie junior. We saw her at the Australian Open in the women's main draw, and we are going to see plenty more of her. She is the next big thing in Australian tennis. Cool under pressure, clever in her shot selection, and just a little bit of hint of grunt and mongrel when the scoreboard gets tight, which is what we love to see, that blue-collar work ethic getting down and dirty when the time calls for it. She is now just one win away from becoming the first Aussie girl to be in the French Open Juniors final since Jelena Dokic in 1998, and she potentially joins Alexei Popyrin, who won this title in the boys' singles only just under a decade ago. We'll be tracking her every step of the way. We can't wait. We're wishing her all the best tonight. She will get the action underway early from about 7 p.m. Australian time, so just as our episode goes live for you. We can't wait to see how Emmerson goes, and as we said, we'll keep you up to date with how she's tracking as the tournament continues on for her. But now let's move on to those men's semi-finals that will fill our TV screens in the late hours of our Friday night, the early hours of your Saturday morning as you're undoubtedly staying up bleary-eyed, taking them in. The first men's semi is a stylistic masterpiece, a blend of raw power and some clay court artistry, just what you want to get your day ripping and rolling for the tennis. Carlos Alcaraz came into this tournament with some question marks around his arm, but he's crushed them with a dominant run to the semi-finals. He has certainly been strong. We know that. And we know that he's going to be one of the favourites here, and he is the favourite in this match. Lorenzo Musetti, though, he's flown under the radar a little bit, but he has some serious clay court credentials. He's taken out some big names on the way, including in the quarters, and remember, he did beat Alcaraz last year in Hamburg. He's not intimidated by big names, and his one-handed backhand is a thing of beauty. In the head-to-head, Alcaraz does lead at 2-1, but Musetti's win was on clay, and that does carry some weight. It won't completely overwhelm Carlos, the fact that he has got a losing match against Musetti on clay, but it's going to give Musetti some confidence, surely. We know that Alcaraz is going to look to use his speed and aggressive forehand to bully the court, while for Musetti, he's going to slow things down, drop shots, spins, angles. He wants to turn this into a clay court waltz, not a sprint for Alcaraz. We need to watch the opening set here. How this all gets underway is going to be the key. If Musetti gets dragged into physical exchanges early, it could be over quick. We know Alcaraz can outmuscle and outmaneuver him. But if he can frustrate and finesse, this could turn into a sneaky classic. Between these two, they've got more drop shots than a barista in Paris has pulled espresso shots this fortnight. This one could get interesting, but you have to lean towards Carlos Alcaraz and his pure talent and ability. At his best, he is one of the best tennis players in the world in recent generations. He has the ability on clay to match it potentially with the likes of, just nipping at the heels of, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. He is young, he is a gun, we know that. Musetti, though, is still on the upward lift. Can he get there? I don't know that he will this time, but he's closing that gap slowly. I think this one might go to a cheeky four-setter, but again, everything in my heart and my head tells me that Carlos Alcaraz waltzes his way across the red clay and into the final. Our second match, the main event. It will wrap up this day of wonderful action of tennis from Roland Garros, and it's Jannik Sinner, the number one seed, up against the all-time leading Grand Slam title winner in men's tennis, Novak Djokovic. It's youth versus legacy. The number one versus the 24-time Slam King. Sinner is the form player of 2024 despite that break for doping. He won the Australian Open, has barely dropped sets here in Paris, and he's fresh. He's only just come back into the game after that suspension that we talked about and only had a couple of tournaments. That could be a silver lining. It could be an Achilles heel. Only time will tell. We know that he's going to have to build here. He's up against Novak, and he hasn't beaten him here, so that's going to be the big question. Djokovic, meanwhile, he's been in survival mode. He has gone deep in a couple of these matches. We know that he's got the ability to take these players on and go deep, play strong. And if anyone can outlast, it is likely to be Novak Djokovic. He's had to go to 4 to beat Zverev in the quarterfinals. He did get it done against Norrie and Misalik in 3 sets in the previous rounds. Is he at his best? No. Does Novak Djokovic need to be at his best to win a 25th Grand Slam? That is the mystery question. We know that he's got the ability. As I said, if he has to go to 5 sets, he will be ready to rock and roll. But Sinner definitely has youth on his side. Sinner's going to look to his serve. His first strike tennis is going to be key here. He wants to keep point short and hit through Novak early. That's how he gets this done. That's how his shot forms up. For Djokovic, he's going to look to drag Jannik into long, long rallies, probing the backhand wing and testing the Italian's resolve when it really matters. He's going to, despite his age, look to challenge Sinner's ability to continue to go deep. Sinner's ability to challenge him, considering that he's only had a couple of tournaments, and the biggest match he's had so far, that final recently, he didn't get it done and fell. The big questions, is Sinner mentally ready to dethrone the current king of clay? Novak Djokovic in any other era would have had a plethora of French Open titles. He did unfortunately come up against the real king of clay, Rafael Nadal, throughout his duration of his career, and that has probably slowed him down. Is Novak going to be healthy enough? That's the other question. We know he's had his injury concerns over the last 12 months. It has derailed him at times in Grand Slams in recent times. But again, we've seen him push on. We've seen him push deep. We've seen him overcome. This is Novak's 48th Grand Slam semi-final. Just let that number sink in. 48 Grand Slam semi-finals. He's gone on to win 24 of them. It's Sinner's third. Experience will matter here, but so does momentum. We are about to find out which one's going to matter more and which one's going to carry more weight on the red clay. I just think for this one, Sinner needs to get it done in 3 if he's going to win it. If it goes to 4 or 5, it starts to fall in Novak's hands despite his health. I think it will be a 4-setter. I think it will be tight, and I think Sinner's going to have to grit his teeth and get this one done, and maybe in a tie-break in the 4th set, using that booming serve to steer him home. It's going to be tough. It's going to be enthralling. It's going to be tight. It's going to be one of the ones to go down in the annals of tennis history. This is going to be a classic. So there you have it, 2 semi-finals that are as different in tone as they are in tempo. Musetti, the magician, can he disrupt Carlos? You tend to think not. Will Sinner finally take that next step and knock off Novak? Only time will tell. And of course, Emmerson Jones chasing that history in the juniors. Aussie fans, get up and get around her. The great news is we'll be back with the final world tomorrow. But until then, pour yourself a strong espresso, stay up late, enjoy the Final Four. This has been the French Open Daily Dose on the Chris McPherson Show. We'll catch you courtside.